Hello, I'm Red, and today I'm going to be reading for you some r/PettyRevenge. Ready? Here we go. Scam callers get lots of calls back. I just opened a small business. My utility company is PSEG. I set up autopay so I wouldn't forget and not be able to open due to missed bills. Scam callers tell me someone is coming to shut off my power in 20 minutes because I missed the security deposit. I called PSEG directly on my husband's phone and they said it's clearly a scam. Now it's time for some fun. I give the scammers a fake card number. Tell them I'm not sure why it's not going through. Put them on hold when customers come in. Waste as much of their time as I can. I called back 5 times until they blocked me. So, of course, I asked all my friends when they're bored to call them too. And that works if the scammers call you on a number that you can actually call back on. Most of the spam calls I get are like spoofed numbers, so it looks like someone local is calling. And it's so annoying. One time they used my number as the spoofed number, and I kept getting calls back from people, did you call me? No, it's a scam. Like, come on. Anyway, next story is... Convince people they're going to get a rash for ignoring all of the restroom signs while I clean. I work for a company that does commercial cleaning jobs, mostly restrooms, in businesses around the area. I have a big machine I pressure wash bathrooms with that has the cleaning chemical in the water. I put up plenty of signs while I clean that say the bathrooms are closed for cleaning. The ones I have hang at eye level in the door frames, and you have to physically duck to get under them. I frequently get people who come up and look at the signs and ask if they can use the restrooms, which I always politely say no because they're closed for cleaning and I have a cleaning chemical on all the fixtures. They're usually fine with that and either wait or go to a different one. I clean both the men's and women's at the same time when I do these, so sometimes I'll be inside one of the restrooms and I don't see someone sneak into the other one to use it. This means I have to sit there and wait for them to finish before I can finish cleaning that restroom. If they're fast, I might just give them a look, but if they cost me a lot of time, I'll tell them that I hope they don't get a rash. They usually get confused, so I explain that the chemicals I spray on the fixtures are harmful to the skin, and that's why I have to close the restrooms while I work. I usually put on a worried, sympathetic face and tell them that they may want to go take a shower as quickly as possible, otherwise it might get really uncomfortable to sit down for the next few weeks. This usually freaks them out a bit and they rush away. Our chemicals are actually pretty harmless, so long as it's not straight from the jug, undiluted. When I spray through the machine, it's been heavily diluted, so it won't ever cause a problem. But that fear feels really good to see on someone who thought the rules didn't matter to them. I never thought about chemicals when they're cleaning the bathrooms, but I never would go in because I'm like, oh, I'm just going to get in their way and it's going to take longer. I mean, yeah, that's so entitled to think, oh, it's closed. Well, you know what? I'll just use it anyway. People are entitled. Okay, here is the next story. Won't call me by my name? Okay. When I was in college, I worked at a gastropub as a server and bartender. When I'd been there a few months, we hired a new guy named Nathaniel, who went by Nathan. My name is Joshua. I never go by Josh. That's my dad's name. And it also just, never suited me. I've always been pretty adamant about being called Joshua, ignoring teachers who shortened it, etc. I introduced myself to Nathan, who immediately said something like, "Nice to meet you, Josh." I politely told him that I prefer Joshua, using my go-to line, "My dad's name is Josh, and my parents decided that Joshua was preferable to Bubba." I'm from the American South, where Bubba is a common nickname for any junior or male who has the same first name as his father. It's also kind of a pejorative nickname used by people from other parts of the country for backward redneck southerners. The line usually gets a laugh or at least a good-natured chuckle, and people don't seem to have a problem calling me Joshua afterwards. Nathan, however, never once used my full name, always calling me Josh. I really liked the guy and enjoyed working with him, and we soon became pretty good friends, often hanging out outside of work, etc. But his refusal to use my preferred name always kind of irked me. My very silly, very petty revenge was that I always called him Nate instead of Nathan. He looked at me oddly for the first couple of times, but never brought it up. I never once heard another person call him Nate, and frankly, Nathan suited him much better. One night, a few of us were closing the bar, and he, as usual, called me Josh. One of the waitresses, bless her, corrected him. "He goes by Joshua, nobody calls him Josh," she said. Nathan stopped wiping the bar, got a far-off look for a moment, then spun to look at me. "Is that why you call me Nate?" he asked. I just laughed. There was a general banter for a few minutes about how everyone thought it was odd that I called him Nate, but nobody really thought about it. Nate laughed about it and then was like, "Screw it, let's keep going with the wrong names." So we did. He's the only person I know who calls me Josh, and as far as I know, nobody but me calls him Nate. What was once a bit of a nagging annoyance to me became a kind of bonding thing, having our own buddy names. Pet names? For each other. Okay. I say okay a lot, don't I? Here's the next story anyway. You say dogs barking is just what dogs do? Huh. I had a neighbour that had a dog that, I kid you not, barked from about 7 p.m. till 5 a.m. non-stop. They worked at nights, I believe. They kept it outside. I knocked numerous times and they said, "Dogs bark, what do you expect?" Their house was directly behind mine. We shared a divided wall. I recorded their dog for a full day. The minute they brought him in and felt like they were sleeping, I popped my phone on the dock and played it on my stereo full blast facing their yard at 9 a.m. They came over raving mad to my wall about 12, asking me to shut my dog up. I said, "It's your dog. I recorded him. Since you miss out on what dogs do, I'm just playing the radio at a normal allowable city time, and I will do this every day." They started bringing their dog in at night after that. Yeah, like dogs barking is annoying, but no, it's just annoying. My mum has a dog next door to her place that just barks non-stop, and there's nothing. They can't, like, they've tried a lot to stop it, but yeah, they have a few problems with those neighbors. Are you ready for the last story for today? Yeah. Oh, okay. This is not Jim's number. Many years ago, around 1998 or 99, my husband and I moved to a new city, and we had a landline, as cell phones weren't widely used at the time. We had caller ID. Late one weeknight, we were startled awake around 2 a.m. by the phone ringing. Heart pounding, fearing a death in the family or other such tragedy, I anxiously answered. It was an obviously drunk woman asking for Jim. I told her she had the wrong number and hung up. She rang again and argued that it was Jim's number. I told her it may have once been his number, but it was my number now, and there was no Jim here. It took at least an hour for me to relax enough to get back to sleep, and I was tired at work all the next day. I was annoyed, of course, but these things happen, and I got over it. Until it happened again a few nights later. And again a few nights after that, and then a fourth time. After that fourth time, I was no longer annoyed. I was super mad. I couldn't get back to sleep at all. I decided as long as I was awake, I might as well make good use of my time. I used the caller ID to call this woman to remind her that Jim still wasn't at this number. I called her at 3:45, again at 4:30, to remind her that Jim no longer had the phone number 555XXXX. I called at 6, and before leaving for work at 7. For the next week, I called each morning when my alarm went off at 5:45 and again before I left for work at 7. If I woke up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, I'd call her as long as I was up. Each time I could tell I woke her up. It was glorious. Don't forget, Jim is no longer at 555 XXXX. Then, after a week, I stopped. I never received another call from her either, so I guess my reminders worked. Yeah, if you get the wrong number, just say, "Oh, sorry," and hang up. Don't, oh, that's drunk logic right there, arguing with someone. No, this is the number. Well, it's obviously not because this is not Jim. If it was Jim's number, wouldn't Jim be here? Yes. I really hope you enjoyed those r/PettyRevenge stories read by me, Red. Please give the video a like and share it with your friends. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't done that. Thank you so much, guys, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.